Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into the worn boots of a medieval knight. Picture yourself in the early morning, the dim light of dawn creeping through the cracks of your small, stone-walled room. The air is cold, thick with the scent of damp earth and yesterday's battle. You rise, not from luxury, but from the grim necessity of duty. The faint sound of a rooster's crow outside is the only indication that the world hasn't stopped spinning. You take a deep breath, bracing yourself for what's to come, because today, like every other day, will be full of relentless training, responsibility, and let's be honest, way more swordplay than anyone could reasonably ask for. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, drop your location and time in the comments. I always find it fascinating to know where you guys are listening from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Your day begins before most villagers have even stirred from their beds. You reach for your boots, the leather stiff with the accumulated grime of days on the road. The smell of fresh bread might be wafting in from the bakery, but it's not breakfast you're thinking about. Your mind is already drifting toward the tasks of the day, and more importantly, the heavy armor waiting for you. You have a fleeting thought about how much easier life might be if you were, say, a baker or a shepherd. But that's just a brief moment of self-pity. Knights aren't supposed to have such thoughts. You don't have the luxury of wondering whether or not your morning could be easier. You are a knight, and your duty comes first. As you rise from your bed, the familiar sounds of the castle's waking start to fill the air. The clang of the blacksmith's hammer, the sharp cries of men preparing for another grueling day. Your life is one of constant motion. But before you can even begin to think about what lies ahead, you must first prepare for the day in the most primal of ways. You must put on your armor. Your body feels stiff from the night's sleep, and it takes more than a few moments to shake off the ache that comes with such a hard, unforgiving lifestyle. You step into the armory, the cold stone of the walls sending a shiver through your spine. The familiar smell of oiled leather and iron fills the air, and the weight of history presses down on you. The armor hanging on the wall isn't just metal, it's a symbol of your purpose. You approach your set, a mixture of plate and chainmail, custom made for your body. First, you slide on the padded undergarment, something that looks like a strange combination of quilt and a mattress, designed to absorb the shock of battle. It's tight, uncomfortable, and it's hard to say it out loud, but you kind of hate it. Still, it's necessary. You can't exactly march into a fight with a bunch of raw skin exposed. Next, the breastplate. It's heavier than you remember, and as you strap it in place, you feel the pressure in your chest, almost like a reminder of the weight of responsibility. The backplate follows, and soon enough, the metal feels more like a second skin than anything else. You tug on the greaves and vambraces, locking them into place with familiar clicks and snaps. The clinking of metal echoes through the room as you finish off the set with a helmet, which, let's be honest, you're probably never going to get used to. The whole process takes longer than it should, but it's worth it, because when you're fully armored, you're not just a man, you're an ideal, a symbol of everything your order stands for. And despite the discomfort, you feel an odd sense of pride as you step out into the courtyard. Your fellow knights are already there, stretching, sharpening swords, and practicing moves. The training yard is a chaotic mess of activity, but it's a mess that you've come to love. It's your escape from the mundanity of castle life, your opportunity to prove yourself in ways that words can't capture. The sound of swordplay fills the air. You know the rhythm by heart. The clang of steel against steel, the quick gasps of breath, the satisfying whoosh of a blade cutting through the air. You join in, pairing up with one of your comrades to go over basic drills. The motions are mechanical at first, but soon enough, they become fluid. Your sword feels lighter in your hand, and for a moment, you forget about the weight of the armor or the looming sense of duty. It's just you, your sword, and your opponent. There's an old saying among the knights: the blade that does not bend will break. It's a reminder that strength alone won't win the day. Skill, adaptability, and strategy will. The swords you carry are tools, yes, but the real weapon is your mind. Today's drills are all about honing that weapon. Each swing, each parry, is a chance to perfect the art of combat, to become not just stronger, but smarter. By the time the sun rises high in the sky, the sweat is pouring down your face, and your muscles are screaming for rest. But there's no time to stop. Your day is only just beginning, and the more you train, the more you realize that this life of knighthood is not just about combat. It's about discipline, responsibility, and honor. As you wipe the sweat from your brow, you can't help but think that, despite everything, it's a life you wouldn't trade for anything. You're sweaty, tired, and sore, but there's no time to rest. You can't afford it. The castle hums with activity as you make your way to the armory for the next task armor. You may not have thought about it, but in every single piece of that armor is a part of you. It's not just for protection, it's a tool of your trade, your badge of honor, your shield against the world that would see you fall. Without it, you are nothing more than a man in a tunic. Before you, the armor looks like a mountain of metal. As you gaze upon it, you think about the blacksmith's work. Each piece of armor is forged with such precision that it seems almost alive. The breastplate shakes with the dull luster of aged iron. The chainmail glints faintly in the morning light. It's an elaborate system of protection, one that takes hours to don, but only seconds to take off in the heat of battle. Strapping on the layers of metal is a tedious process. First comes the padded undergarment. Its thick fabric feels like an ironclad cushion, designed to absorb the brunt of the blow should an enemy strike you. You tie it tight, knowing it will only make the rest of the armor more comfortable. It's a necessary sacrifice. You continue, starting with the greaves, then the vambraces. Each piece feels heavier than the last. The shoulder guards go on next, followed by the breastplate, which feels like a second skin. The weight of it presses down on you, almost suffocating, but you know it's protecting you. This armor is a fortress, and you are the knight who stands within its walls. Without it, you wouldn't stand a chance. The helmet is the last to go on. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a mask that defines who you are. You are a knight, and your face is hidden behind this steel facade. You think about the men who've worn this same helmet before you, men who have lived and died by the sword, men whose faces are now lost to time, and yet their legacy is here, in this very room, in the armor that you now wear. With one final tug, you secure it in place, feeling the pressure against your head. You know the importance of every piece, Each part has a purpose, whether it's the sword hanging from your waist or the shield strapped to your back. But even more than the physical protection, your armor is a symbol. It's the armor of a knight, a symbol of honor, strength, and courage. As you make your way to the training yard, the weight of the armor feels almost unbearable. Your legs feel stiff, your body clumsy. But this is your life. This is what you've chosen. The clang of swords and shields fills the air as your fellow knights prepare for the next round of practice. You can hear the laughter and shouts of those already warmed up, their movements fluid and swift, as though they were born in this armor. But you're not quite there yet. You find a place among the group and begin your warm-up. It's always the same. Stretches, practice swings, and an endless barrage of drills designed to perfect every motion, every movement. The trainers bark orders, pushing you to your limits. It's painful at first, especially when every move you make is hindered by the weight of the armor. But gradually, you begin to move more fluidly. The rhythm of combat starts to come back to you, the precision, the agility, the sharpness. A fellow knight, someone you fought alongside for years, approaches you with a grin, ready for the real test. "My friend," he says, his voice thick with mock challenge. He's wearing a grin that could rival the sun, and you can't help but grin back. The camaraderie of the knights is something that never gets old. The way the bonds of brotherhood grow stronger with each clash of swords. You nod, tightening your grip on your sword. It's time to spar. The clang of metal on metal fills the air as you face off against your opponent. Each blow feels heavy, the armor amplifying the weight of every strike. It's a slow, deliberate fight, where every move is calculated. This isn't a battle to the death, no. This is training, but you can't help but feel the thrill, the rush of adrenaline as your sword connects with his shield. The sound is like thunder, and for a brief moment, it feels as though the whole world is a battlefield. Every movement feels deliberate. The sharp, calculated turns, the precise steps you take to close the gap between you and your opponent. It's not just physical, there's a mental game at play. You're always looking for an opening, a weakness to exploit. You've trained for years to perfect these moves, and yet every time you spar, you discover something new, a better way to move, a more efficient way to strike. The dance of combat is endless, and you are always refining your steps. Finally, after what feels like hours of fighting, the trainer calls for a halt. You stand there, panting, your body sore and bruised. The armor is heavy, and the sweat stings your eyes, but you can't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. This is what you do. This is the life you've chosen. It's not glamorous, and it's not easy, but it's yours. And with each passing day, you become a little stronger, a little sharper, a little closer to the knight you're meant to be. You remove your helmet, feeling the cool air against your face. Your hair sticks to your forehead, and your muscles ache, but you wear the weariness like a badge of honor. This is the life of a knight. It's not about glory or fame. It's about discipline, duty, and most of all, it's about the strength to rise again. Day after day, no matter how heavy the armor may feel, the sun is high, casting long shadows over the stone walls of the castle as you remove your armor and make your way to the hall. Your muscles are sore from the day's training, but there's no time to dwell on discomfort. The day is far from over. As you step into the great hall, the sound of laughter and clinking mugs fills the air. A feast is underway. the table laden with bread, meat, and mead. For a moment, you let the warmth of the room soothe you, and the scent of roasted lamb and freshly baked bread promises comfort. But then, your stomach growls in a way that reminds you not to get too comfortable. Not all meals are like this. After all, today, you're fortunate. The feast is a rare occurrence, one of those moments when the lord of the castle deems it necessary to host a banquet. You sit among your fellow knights, their faces tired but bright with a sense of camaraderie. You clink your tankard with the others, the deep sound of it echoing through the hall. The air is thick with conversation, stories of battles fought and victories won. You try to focus on the conversation, but your mind is already drifting to the future, the real work, the war, the life you lead beyond the walls of this hall. It's easy to get caught up in the merriment, the laughter, and the warmth of the fire, but that's not the life of a knight, is it? Sure, moments like this exist, but they are fleeting. You know that the next day will likely bring little more than the grind of training, the weight of your responsibilities, and the knowledge that not everyone gets to dine as lavishly as this. There's always a reminder that not all is well in the world. There are famines, disease, and the ever-present threat of battle looming over you. The food, rich and savory, tastes almost too good. The roasted lamb falls off the bone with a satisfying ease, and the bread is soft and warm, but as you eat, you can't help but notice the looks of those around you. There are a few knights who eat heartily, enjoying the rare treat, but there are others who seem less focused on the feast and more on the empty mugs sitting before them. They don't talk much, lost in their thoughts. You wonder what's on their minds. Maybe it's the same things that cross yours. The wars ahead, the uncertainty, the families they've left behind. For you, there's a deep sense of guilt when you think about your family. You've been away for so long, and you wonder if they still remember you as you were before the armor, before the battles, before everything changed. You try not to dwell on it, but it's difficult to shake the thought of them. What kind of life can they possibly have, waiting for you to return? Or worse, what if they don't? You shake your head, trying to push the thoughts away. This feast is a moment of peace, and you know you should enjoy it while it lasts. There's always time to worry later. For now, you'll allow yourself to relax just a little. There's something oddly comforting about being surrounded by your fellow knights, all of you bound by the same code, sharing a meal in the warmth of the hall. As you finish your meal, the conversation turns to the future specifically, the future of your lord's lands. The lord is a distant figure to many of you, a man you rarely see, except at the front of the castle, issuing orders and commands. But today, his presence is felt even in his absence. You've heard the whispers, the talk of possible wars on the horizon. The kingdom is facing threats from all sides, and the Lord has called upon his knights to be ready. There is talk of campaign after campaign, of marching into foreign lands and defending your own from those who seek to conquer. You can't help but feel a little uneasy as you listen. You've fought before, of course. It's what you were trained for. But the thought of more war, of more lives lost, unsettles you. It's easy to get caught up in the heroism of battle, in the glory and honor that is promised. But those who've seen real combat know that there's more to war than the stories. There are wounds, both physical and mental, that never heal. You've seen men return from the battlefield, their faces haunted, their eyes empty. The nightmares follow them long after the battle is over. Historians still argue about the true cost of war, the numbers, the tactics, the politics. But one thing is certain: the price is paid by those who fight. And it's not always in gold or land. It's paid in blood, sweat, and the memories of what has been lost. The chatter in the hall fades into the background as you lose yourself in thought. You know the Lord's campaign is coming, and when it does, you will have no choice but to fight. But for now, you try to hold on to the moment. The fire crackles in the hearth, casting warm shadows on the walls. The scent of roasted meats fills the air. You hear the laughter of your comrades, their faces flushed with drink and merriment. But underneath it all, there is a knowing glance between you and the others. You are knights, bound by duty, and no matter how much you wish for moments like this to last, you know the world is waiting outside these walls, and it won't be long before you must pick up your sword again. For a brief moment, you close your eyes and allow yourself to relax. The peace is fleeting, but it's here now, and you will savor it while it lasts. The battle ahead is unknown, but it will come, and when it does, you will be ready. As the feast winds down and the hall slowly empties, you find yourself at a quiet table, nursing your tankard, feeling the weight of the coming days. Tomorrow, the drills begin again. The armor will be strapped back on, and the sword will be your constant companion. But tonight, you can still taste the richness of the meal on your tongue, feel the warmth of the fire on your skin, and for just a little while longer, you can pretend that the world outside doesn't exist. The noise of the hall quiets, and the last of the drunken chatter fades as the torches flicker out, casting long, dancing shadows on the stone floor. You're left alone in the wake of the feast, a feeling of loneliness settling in your chest like an unwelcome guest. The celebration is over, but the reality of life as a knight presses down harder with each passing moment. The armor is waiting for you in the armory. The sword is ready to be sharpened. The responsibilities never stop. You stand, stretching your legs, still sore from the sparring earlier. The walk back to your chambers feels different now, darker, heavier, as if the weight of the world is starting to settle on your shoulders once again. The halls are eerily quiet as you pass by the other knights' rooms. Some are asleep, some are still awake, their doors slightly ajar. The soft glow of candles flickering from within. You hear snippets of conversations, but none of them are directed at you. It's just the rhythm of life in the castle, each person locked into their own world of responsibilities, dreams, fears, and memories. But it's not your fears that weigh most heavily on you tonight. It's the cold realization that tomorrow, like every other day, you'll be back in the training yard, back in the saddle, and back to the sword. That's the life of a knight. After all, there's no time for reflection, no room for weakness. You reach your chamber, and the first thing you do is hang up your cloak, shaking off the dust of the day. You can still feel the tension in your back, the weight of your sword belt pressing against your skin. You glance at your reflection in the small, cracked mirror on the wall, the face of a knight staring back at you, someone you barely recognize. The eyes are tired, the face weathered from years of combat and hardship. There's a scar on your cheek, a reminder of one of many battles you've fought, but also a mark of survival. A knight wears his scars like a badge of honor. But tonight, you can't help but wonder if they're worth it. The question doesn't linger long. You've asked it before, and you'll ask it again, but it never changes anything. You reach for the basin of water on your small table, splash some of it onto your face, and try to shake off the weariness. Outside, the sounds of the castle are muted, the clanging of the blacksmith's hammer fading with the setting sun. But despite the calm, there's an unease in the air. The Lord's campaign is coming. That much is certain. The banner will be raised soon, and all the knights will be called upon to ride out. The thought of battle fills your mind, as it always does, but there's more to being a knight than just fighting. There's the code, the sense of duty, the camaraderie, the thought that no matter what happens out there, you will stand beside your brothers and sisters in arms. That's what keeps you going, the promise that you will fight for something greater than yourself. But that, too, feels like a distant thought tonight. Tonight, all you want is a brief respite from the endless grind of it all. You reach for your bedroll, unroll it, and settle down. The straw beneath you is stiff and uncomfortable, but you've grown used to it. You close your eyes and let the stillness of the night settle in. The quiet of the castle finally wrapping itself around you like a blanket. But the silence feels strange tonight, almost too quiet. You can't shake the feeling that something is waiting just beyond your door, something that you can't see but can sense, like the calm before a storm. But eventually, your exhaustion takes over. You drift off, the rhythm of your breathing slow and steady. The shadows on the wall begin to blur and fade, and for a moment, you allow yourself to dream of something else, a life without armor, without swords, without battle. Maybe in another life, you would have been something different. Maybe you would have been a farmer, or a craftsman, or a father. But for now, you are a knight, and your duty will never stop calling. The day comes quickly, as they always do, and the rising sun stirs you from your dreams. You stretch, feeling the soreness in your muscles, the ache in your back. The world outside your chamber is waking up, and so must you. There's no time to linger. There's no time to waste. You rise, take up your sword, and prepare yourself for the day ahead. The training yard awaits. The armor is calling your name. Your brothers and sisters in arms are already there, waiting for you. Today, you will fight, and tomorrow, you will fight again. That's the life of a knight. But before you leave, you take a moment to reflect. As you gaze out of the small window of your chamber, watching the first rays of the sun break across the horizon, you realize something. Being a knight isn't just about fighting. It's about honor, loyalty, and duty. It's about standing together with your comrades, facing whatever the world throws at you. And while the weight of it all can sometimes feel unbearable, it's a weight you carry with pride. You straighten your back, ready to face whatever comes next. The world outside may be uncertain, but you are certain of one thing: you will never back down. The sun is high, its light streaming through the castle's narrow windows as you make your way toward the stables. The familiar smell of fresh hay and the sharp scent of leather fills your nostrils. Your steed waits for you, as steadfast as always, tethered to a post with a lead rope. The bond between knight and horse is one forged in the fires of battle. Without your horse, you're only half a knight. A knight without a steed is like a warrior without a sword, lost, vulnerable, incomplete. You approach the horse with reverence. This isn't just a creature of war. It's your partner, your companion through every fight, every journey, every uncertain step on the battlefield. You remember the first time you laid eyes on the horse, back when it was just a young foal, wild-eyed and eager. You didn't know it then, but it would become as essential to you as your own arm. You run a hand down the horse's neck, feeling the familiar warmth of its coat. The animal nuzzles you, its breath warm against your skin, and for a brief moment, you forget about the world outside. There's something deeply calming about the way your horse looks at you. There's no judgment, no expectations, just the trust that comes from shared experience. It's an unspoken bond, one that can't be broken by sword or shield, and one that only grows stronger as the years go by. Before mounting, you check the saddle, adjust the reins, and inspect the horse's hooves. It's always these little details that matter. A knight who neglects his horse is no knight at all. The horse is a knight's most trusted ally, and the relationship goes both ways. If you care for the animal, it will carry you through thick and thin. With a final glance toward the castle gates, you mount your steed and settle into the saddle. The weight of the armor feels different now, less constricting, more a part of you. As you ride out into the open fields surrounding the castle, the world opens up in front of you. The wind catches your cloak, and for a moment, you feel the sensation of freedom, the freedom that only comes when you're on horseback, galloping through the open air, the world rushing by at breakneck speed. But as much as you love the open space, you know the reality of your life. It's not about enjoying freedom, it's about defending it. You're a knight, and your duty is to protect these lands, to serve the Lord who's given you this position. You ride toward the training fields, where your comrades are already assembling. The sound of hooves hitting the dirt mixes with the crackle of the morning breeze. The training ground is bustling, full of knights preparing for another day of drills. There's no hesitation in the air. This is what you've trained for, what you've lived for. And despite the exhaustion that lingers from the night before, you can't help but feel the excitement building. The thrill of battle is never far from your thoughts, even in practice. The adrenaline surges through your veins, reminding you that no matter how many times you pick up your sword, it will always feel like the first time. The weight of your duty never changes, and the stakes always remain high. Today, the training is focused on cavalry maneuvers, charging, formations, and coordinated attacks. You've done this 100 times before, but each time feels different. Each movement is a new opportunity to perfect your technique, to find that tiny bit of improvement that makes all the difference in battle. Your steed is responsive, agile beneath you as you guide it through the drills. It's not just about speed, it's about control. Every knight knows that the ability to control your mount in the chaos of battle can make or break a fight. You gallop through the field, performing figure eights and mock charges, the sound of hooves pounding the earth echoing in your ears. The sun beats down on your back, the heat of the day pressing down on your armor, but you push through. Your muscles are sore, but the rhythm of the ride keeps you going. You know that at the end of the day, it will all be worth it. Every blister, every bruise, every ache will be justified by the honor of the fight. But there's a dark side to this. As much as you love the ride, as much as you respect the art of war, you know that every training session, every practice, brings you closer to a real battle. And those battles are never as clean as the drills. In battle, there are no second chances. There's no practice run. There's only the fight, and the ones who survive it. As the day wears on, the training becomes more intense. The knights push themselves harder, challenging each other to push past their limits. There's a sense of camaraderie in the air, an unspoken bond that forms when you fight alongside someone time and time again. The other knights are like family, and yet you're all competitors. Every one of you is vying for the same thing, to be the best, to prove that you are the one who deserves to stand at the front of the battle lines. But for now, the day ends with a sense of quiet exhaustion. You return your steed to the stables, checking the animal over one last time before you head back to your chambers. The weight of the sword on your hip feels different now, less like a tool and more like a reminder of what lies ahead. Tomorrow, the drills will start again, and soon you'll be called to serve, to fight, to protect. You head to your quarters, the familiar stone walls and the flickering candlelight waiting for you. As you sit down, you feel the weight of your responsibilities pressing down on you once again. You've spent your life preparing for this, and yet there are moments when you wonder if you're truly ready. The uncertainty lingers, but you know there's no turning back. You are a knight, and this is the life you've chosen. The sound of hooves in the distance reaches your ears as you settle in for the night, and for a brief moment, you wonder what the future holds. But then, the exhaustion takes over, and all you can do is close your eyes and drift off to sleep, knowing that tomorrow you'll rise and do it all over again. The morning comes too quickly, as it always does, bringing with it the familiar tension of a new day. You've barely had time to recover from yesterday's drills, and already the clang of armor and the stomp of boots fill the air. The castle is alive with the rhythm of military life. You stretch, feeling the stiffness in your muscles, and push yourself out of bed, brushing the sleep from your eyes. It's another day of training, another day spent in the service of the Lord. The moment you step out of your chambers, the cool morning air greets you, sharp and invigorating. You're used to it by now. The chill that cuts through your cloak, the crisp scent of earth and dew. The courtyard is already bustling with activity as knights prepare for the day's work. Some are sharpening swords, others are adjusting their armor, and a few are already mounted and ready to ride. The familiar sounds of the castle's routine soothe you in a strange way. It's a rhythm you've come to rely on, a rhythm that signals that no matter what happens outside these walls, the castle remains a place of duty, discipline, and honor. You make your way to the stables, where your steed awaits. The horse is already saddled, the reins taut and ready for the day's work. Your partner in battle, your trusted companion, is as steady as ever, its glossy coat gleaming in the light of the rising sun. You reach out to pat its neck, grateful for its steady presence. In the days that follow, you'll ride together into countless skirmishes, face down armies, and endure long marches. But today, the drill is different. Today, it's about precision, control, and the art of the cavalry charge. Your heart beats faster as you mount your horse. You know that this is the moment when everything comes together. The rhythm of the horse's gait, the feel of the reins in your hands, the weight of the lance at your side. All of it must align perfectly. The cavalry charge is a beautiful thing when done correctly. It's a deadly ballet, a precise and coordinated strike designed to overwhelm your enemies in an instant. You ride out onto the practice field, where the rest of the knights are already assembled. The field is set up with wooden targets, straw dummies, and makeshift obstacles. There's a sense of seriousness in the air. Today, this is not just another drill. This is about perfecting your form, your attack, and your retreat. The signal is given, and the knights charge forward. The sound of hooves pounding the earth fills your ears, the wind rushing past your face as you lower your lance and direct your horse toward the target. The world around you narrows, the only focus in your mind being the tip of your lance and the target ahead. As you close in, your heart pounds, your breath steady. The moment before impact is a strange one. It's a mixture of excitement, fear, and a primal instinct that takes over. The lance strikes the target with a satisfying thud, the wooden dummy falling to the ground. You circle back quickly, ready to make another pass, to perfect the maneuver, to prove to yourself that you can do it again and again without hesitation. The knights around you are doing the same, each of them pushing themselves to their limits. It's a race against time, a race against perfection. As the day wears on, the drills intensify. You focus on the smaller details, the grip of your lance, the positioning of your body, the way your steed responds to your every command. You push through the exhaustion, your muscles screaming in protest, but you can't stop. Not yet. There's a sense of urgency in the air, a knowledge that the Lord's campaign is drawing near, and soon all this practice will be put to the test in real battle. The thought of it sends a shiver down your spine, but you push it away. Now is not the time for fear. Now is the time for focus. You ride through the drill again, then again, and again, until your movements are second nature. The precision of the charge is no longer something you have to think about. It's something you just do. The lance flies forward with ease. The horse responds with power, and the target falls over and over. You strike the target, feeling the rhythm of the charge in your bones. This is what it means to be a knight. This is the core of your training, the heart of your skill. But after a while, the repetition becomes a blur. Your arms ache from the repeated motions. Your legs sore from the constant pressure of the saddle. The sun beats down on you, making the air feel thick and heavy. The heat is stifling. The sound of hooves no longer filling the air with excitement, but with an overwhelming sense of fatigue. You pull your horse to a stop, breathing heavily as you wipe the sweat from your brow. You're done for the day, or at least your body is telling you so. As you dismount, you're met with the approving nod of your fellow knights. The drill was successful. The charge was clean. You've done your duty. But even as the satisfaction of a job well done settles over you, there's still a lingering thought in the back of your mind. Tomorrow, the drills will start again. The repetition will continue. There will always be another charge, another practice, another battle on the horizon. This life you lead is endless, a never-ending cycle of preparation and duty. But in the quiet moments like this, you can't help but wonder if there will ever be a time when you won't have to ride out to battle. If there will ever be a day when you can lay down your sword and finally rest. You glance at your horse, the faithful creature standing silently beside you, its head low as if it too is exhausted by the endless cycle. You reach out and stroke its mane, comforted by its presence. It's a silent understanding between you and your steed. Together, you are unbreakable, but the world around you is a harsh and demanding one. As the day winds down, you return to the stables to tend to your horse. You give it water and fresh hay, taking your time, ensuring that your partner in battle is cared for. The horse doesn't ask for much, but it deserves everything you can give. It's a bond you cherish, a relationship built on trust, loyalty, and shared struggle. In a way, The horse is more than just an animal, it's a mirror of your own journey as a knight. As you leave the stables and make your way back to your quarters, you feel the familiar weight of exhaustion. Your muscles are sore, your mind heavy with the demands of the day. Tomorrow will bring more drills, more preparation. The grind never stops. But tonight, for just a moment, you can rest. You'll find solace in the routine, in the rhythm of your life as a knight. Tomorrow, the charge will come again. But for now, you are allowed to pause, to breathe, to reflect. And as you lay down, ready to sleep, you close your eyes with the knowledge that whatever comes tomorrow, you are ready for it. The morning fog clings to the castle walls as you rise from your bedroll. The sharp, cold air of dawn filling your lungs as you stretch stiff limbs. The clatter of the blacksmith's hammer and the distant sound of knights preparing for the day echo in the quiet morning. A new day is upon you, and with it comes another cycle of training, another round of drills, and the ever-present weight of duty pressing on your shoulders. You don't even need to look out the window to know what lies ahead. Another day of grueling practice, followed by the endless cycle of preparation for something that may or may not come. Another day spent donning the heavy armor, mounting your steed, and charging across the training fields. You've done it 1,000 times before, and yet there's always something new to learn, some slight improvement to make. The thought of another day on the training ground doesn't excite you, but it doesn't fill you with dread either. It's just another part of the routine, the rhythm of life that you've come to know so well. But today, there's something different in the air. You can feel it, deep in your bones. There's a heaviness that wasn't there before, a tension that isn't just from the physical demands of the work. It's the awareness that something is coming. The Lord's campaign is drawing closer, and you know that soon the drills will stop and the real battle will begin. The thought of it gnaws at the edges of your thoughts as you prepare for the day. The sound of hooves in the courtyard is familiar by now, the rhythmic pounding of the horse's feet, a constant companion. The stables are alive with activity as knights saddle their steeds and check their gear. You can feel the pulse of the castle's routine, the steady beat of preparation. But today, as you stand in the stables, preparing your own horse, there's a quiet anticipation in the air. The horses are more restless than usual, their nostrils flaring, their ears twitching at every sound. Even they seem to sense it, the calm before the storm. Your horse is waiting for you, calm as ever, its dark coat gleaming in the early morning light. You approach it slowly, reaching out to pat its neck. The animal shifts under your touch, its warm breath filling the air as you adjust the saddle. There's an understanding between you and the horse. No words are needed. Both of you have been through the training, the hardship, and the long hours in the saddle. Together, you are a unit, and the thought of facing the coming battles is made a little easier with that understanding. You mount the horse, settling into the saddle, and the familiar weight of your armor feels like a second skin. The sword at your side is a comforting presence. The cool steel, a reminder of the life you've chosen. As you ride out into the training fields, the sound of hooves on dirt fills the air. You glance at the other knights, their faces set with determination. Today's training will be no different than the countless others before it. But the thought of what comes after the real battle, the campaign lingers in your mind like a shadow. The morning drill is focused on cavalry tactics. But today, something feels different. There's a sharpness to your movements, a heightened sense of awareness that wasn't there before. The charge feels more focused, the strikes more deliberate. The rhythm of the drill feels more like a preparation for something greater, something more deadly. You can sense that the other knights feel it too. The way they move, the way they look at one another, it's different. The usual camaraderie is tinged with a quiet urgency. The thought of battle is no longer a distant idea. It's close now, just beyond the horizon, and all of you know it. The sound of hooves thundering across the field fills the air as you ride through the drill. Your lance strikes the target with precision, and you feel the rush of adrenaline as you pull back, ready for the next pass. It's a beautiful moment, the perfect combination of rider and steed, sword and shield. But the beauty is fleeting, because you know that soon the battlefield won't be filled with wooden dummies and practice targets. The battlefield will be real, and the stakes will be higher than ever before. The drills continue for hours, each night pushing themselves harder, perfecting their form and technique. But no matter how sharp the charge, how precise the movements, the thought of what's to come looms over you. There's a sense of inevitability in the air. You know that once the Lord gives the signal, you will be riding out of the castle, heading into the unknown. It's not the unknown of a training field or a distant battlefield. It's the unknown of war, the chaos, the bloodshed, the uncertainty of what will come next. You can't help but think of the faces of the other knights, the ones you've trained with, the ones who've become your brothers in arms. You've fought beside them for years, and now you will stand beside them in battle. But what will happen when the swords are drawn and the shields are raised? Will they stand beside you, or will they fall? It's a thought that lingers in your mind, a question that has no answer. But for now, you focus on the task at hand, the rhythm of the charge, the sound of the hooves beneath you. As the sun begins to set, the training winds down. The horses are tired, the knights exhausted, but there's still a sense of accomplishment in the air. You've pushed yourself, and you've pushed your comrades. The drills were intense, but they've made you all stronger. There's no denying that, but the thought of the real battle still weighs heavily on your mind. You return to the stables, untack your horse, and give it water. The steed drinks eagerly, as if it too senses the storm coming. You take a moment to run your hand down the horse's neck, feeling the familiar warmth of its body. The connection between you and the animal is unspoken, but it's strong. You are bound together in this journey, in this life as a knight. Together, you will face whatever comes next. The thought of battle is never far from your mind. But tonight, for just a moment, you can rest. Tomorrow, the preparations will continue. The drills will grow even more intense. But for tonight, you allow yourself to let go of the fear, the uncertainty, and simply exist in the quiet, knowing that when the time comes, you will ride out with your brothers in arms. As you make your way back to your quarters, the castle is quiet, save for the distant sound of the blacksmith's hammer and the occasional murmur of voices in the hallways. The weight of the day lingers in your bones, and you feel the exhaustion seep into your limbs. The routine is comforting, even in its monotony. It's what you've always known, what you've always depended on. But as you sit down on your bedroll, the reality of what's to come begins to settle in your mind. The campaign is coming. You will ride out. You will fight. And when it's over, you will return changed, if you survive. But for tonight, you close your eyes and rest. Tomorrow is another day, and there's more training, more preparation. But tonight, you are a knight, and that is all that matters. The sun breaks over the horizon, casting long golden beams across the stone walls of the castle as you awaken. It's the kind of morning where the light seems almost too perfect, like something out of a dream. You stretch, feeling the aches in your body, the residual soreness from yesterday's practice. You've grown used to this feeling, the constant reminder of the work you put in every day. The effort never stops, and neither does the training. You know the drill: get up, dress in your armor, mount your steed, and ride into the field to sharpen your skills. The air is sharp with the promise of another day, the smell of fresh earth and dew mixing with the faint aroma of roasted meat from the kitchens. You walk through the halls of the castle, the familiar creaks of the wooden floors beneath your boots, and the occasional clatter of servants rushing about in their duties. The routine is as reliable as the rising sun, and you've come to appreciate it, despite the grueling hours it demands of you. The comfort of the known, the certainty of what each day will bring, is almost a refuge. It's easy to get lost in the monotony, to forget that there's a storm brewing just beyond the walls. But not today. Today, you feel it more keenly than ever, the growing sense of anticipation. The Lord's campaign looms like a storm cloud, heavy and oppressive. It's coming, and with it, the real test of your abilities, your courage, and your resolve. The training grounds are already alive with activity when you arrive. The sound of clashing swords and the rhythmic pounding of hooves fill the air. The knights already deep into their drills. As you walk into the yard, the familiar sights and sounds surround you, but there's a new sense of urgency in the air. The knights are working harder, pushing themselves further. There's a focus in their eyes, a determination that wasn't there before. You join your fellow knights, ready for the day's work. The routine remains the same, but the stakes are higher now. Every swing of the sword, every turn of the horse, is a step towards something far more dangerous. Today's drills focus on mounted combat, the charge, the strike, and the retreat. You know the movements by heart. But today, it feels different. Your horse moves with a sense of purpose, as if it, too, understands that what lies ahead is no mere practice. You guide your steed through the course, your lance at the ready, your shield firm by your side. The movements are fluid, the strikes precise, but there's a sharpness to your focus, a heightened sense of awareness that wasn't there yesterday. You charge down the line of targets, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline as you close in. The lance strikes with a satisfying thud, knocking the target to the ground. You don't pause for a breath, immediately turning your horse to ride back for another pass. The drills are endless, but there's a sense of purpose behind each movement now. You are no longer practicing for the sake of practice. You are preparing for war. The thought sits heavy in your chest, but you can't afford to think too much about it. There's no time for hesitation, no room for fear. Your mind drifts back to the last time you were in real battle, to the blood and the chaos, to the faces of your comrades, some of whom never returned. You push the thoughts away. This is different. This time, you are ready. The drills will prepare you. The armor will protect you, and your comrades will stand by your side. You can't afford to think about what could go wrong. Not now. Not when there's still work to be done. The sun climbs higher in the sky as the drills continue, each one more intense than the last. The heat of the day presses down on you, but you push through, focusing on the task at hand. The rhythm of the charge, the sound of hooves pounding the earth, the sharp crack of the lance striking the target. Everything falls into place with a satisfying precision. But still, the nagging thought at the back of your mind refuses to let go. The campaign is coming. You will ride into battle soon. And when you do, the reality of war will be far more brutal than anything you've faced here on the training grounds. You know this, and yet you can't help but feel a sense of pride. This is what you've been training for. This is what you were born to do. The end of the day brings little relief. As the sun begins to set, casting a deep orange glow over the training field, you feel the weight of exhaustion settle into your bones. You untack your horse and lead it back to the stables, where you give it water and fresh hay. You take a moment to check the animal over, making sure it's in good condition for the battles ahead. The bond between knight and steed is something unspoken, but you know it's essential. Without your horse, you are only half a knight. The stables are quieter now, the sounds of the other knights fading into the distance. You give your horse one final pat before returning to your quarters. The castle is beginning to quiet as well, the sounds of daily life winding down for the night. You take a deep breath as you make your way through the corridors, your mind heavy with the knowledge that tomorrow the cycle will begin again. But tonight, there's a brief moment of peace. The weight of your sword, the burden of duty, they can wait for now. Tonight, you allow yourself to rest. Tomorrow, the drills will resume and the preparations will continue. But for tonight, you close your eyes and let the exhaustion take over. You've earned this small moment of respite, even if it's fleeting. As sleep takes you, you know that the world will still be waiting when you awaken. The campaign will come, but for now, in this moment, you are allowed to dream. The quiet of the night doesn't last long. You wake as the first light of dawn stretches its fingers through the cracks in your chamber, the cool air brushing against your skin. Your body aches from the previous day's exertion, but there's no time to dwell on it. The morning routine calls, the rhythm of life as a knight never faltering. You roll out of bed and, with a sigh, begin the familiar motions, dressing in the padded undergarments, strapping on the armor, and preparing for another long day of training. As you walk through the halls, the sounds of the castle waking up around you, the clang of blacksmiths, the murmur of knights gathering in the courtyard fill the air. But today, something feels different. The unease, the tension, the knowledge that the Lord's campaign is imminent weighs heavily on your mind. You can feel it in the air, as thick as the morning fog that clings to the ground. There's no escaping it now. The campaign is no longer a distant thought. It's real. It's here. You push the thoughts aside as you enter the stables. Your horse is already waiting for you, calm as always. But even it seems to sense the change in the air. You take a moment to check the animal, ensuring everything is ready. You've come to rely on this horse more than you care to admit. It's not just a steed, it's a companion in every sense of the word. You feel the bond between you and the animal, an unspoken understanding that goes beyond words. Together, you've ridden into battles, fought side by side, and survived the trials of a knight's life. Mounting the horse, you feel the familiar weight of your armor, the sword at your side, the shield on your back. These are the things you've trained with, fought with, and lived with for so long. But today, they feel heavier than usual. The weight of responsibility, the knowledge that real battle is coming, makes each piece of armor seem more oppressive. The shield, once a comforting presence, now feels like a burden. The sword, so familiar in your hand, feels like it might weigh you down more than protect you. As you ride out onto the training fields, you find the knights already assembling, their faces hard with focus and determination. There's no chatter today, no idle conversation. The usual camaraderie is replaced with an unspoken understanding. Today's drills are not just another part of the routine. Today, everything is different. The drills begin, but the usual rhythm of the practice feels off. The knights are pushing themselves harder, faster, as if each movement is a race against time. The cavalry charges feel sharper, the strikes more focused, and yet there's something more. The intensity in the air is palpable. It's not just about perfecting the form, it's about preparing for what's to come. You feel it in your bones, the anticipation, the certainty that soon these drills will become real. The thought sends a cold shiver down your spine, but you push it away. There's no room for doubt, no time for fear. You are a knight, and your duty is to fight. That's all you can do. The drills continue, each one a reminder of the skills you've spent years honing. You ride your steed with precision, guiding it through the course with practiced ease. The lance strikes the targets with perfect accuracy, each hit feeling like a small victory. But there's still a nagging sense of unease. Each strike, each pass, brings you closer to the inevitable. Soon, the training will stop, and the real battle will begin. You push yourself harder, focusing all your energy on the task at hand. The clatter of hooves fills the air, the sharp crack of the lance against the target resounding through the training grounds. You don't allow yourself to pause. You don't allow yourself to think about what might come. You focus only on the movements, the charge, the strike, the retreat. You've done it 1,000 times before, but this time it feels different. The stakes are higher. The reality of the campaign presses down on you like the weight of your armor. As the sun begins to set, the drills come to an end. The knights, exhausted and covered in sweat, begin to file back to the stables. The air is thick with the weight of the day, the knowledge that tomorrow will bring more of the same. The preparation will continue. The drills will intensify, and soon the time for practice will be over. You walk back to the stables, the sound of hooves behind you, the weight of your armor dragging on you with each step. Your horse waits, as always, ready to take you back to your quarters. You give the animal a pat, grateful for its unwavering loyalty. You untack it, checking over the saddle and reins before walking it back to the stables. The work doesn't end with the training. There's always something more to be done, always more to prepare. As you make your way back to your chamber, you find yourself lost in thought. The weight of the coming battle presses down on you, and for the first time in a long while, you wonder if you're truly ready. Are the drills enough? Will your skills hold up when the real battle begins? The questions linger, but you push them aside. There's no time for doubt. There's no time for fear. You prepare yourself for sleep, knowing that tomorrow will bring more of the same. The routine will continue, but the tension in the air is undeniable. The campaign is coming, and with it, the true test of what it means to be a knight. The chill of the early morning bites at your skin as you rise, the low murmur of the castle coming alive with its usual sounds. The clinking of metal, the rhythmic pounding of the blacksmith's hammer, and the distant echo of hooves across the stone courtyard. You stretch, feeling the familiar ache in your muscles. a constant companion after days of brutal training. It's become almost comforting, the way your body has adapted to the grind, the weariness that you know will fade once you're in the saddle, once you're on the battlefield. Today feels different. It's the same drill, the same routine, but there's an underlying sense of urgency in the air. You can feel it deep down in your bones, the anticipation of something bigger. The Lord's campaign is now a reality, not just a far off idea. You don't know the specifics, but everyone in the castle is on edge. The knights gather earlier than usual in the courtyard, the sounds of their voices more serious, less carefree. Even the horses seem to sense it, more restless, more eager. There's no denying it now. The time to prepare is running out. You head to the stables, where your horse is waiting, calm and steady as always. You reach out to give the animal a reassuring pat, feeling the soft warmth of its coat under your hand. There's an unspoken bond between you and this creature, a bond forged through countless hours of training, through battles fought side by side. In some ways, your horse is more than a steed. It's your partner, your lifeline when the chaos of battle surrounds you. Without it, you are only half the knight you are meant to be. As you check the reins and saddle, you feel the weight of your own armor, the sword resting at your side, the shield strapped to your back. Every piece is a reminder of the duty you've sworn to uphold, of the blood and sweat that have gone into this life. You're not just a knight, you are a weapon, a tool of the Lord's will, and soon you will be called upon to wield that weapon in earnest. The training grounds are already bustling with activity as you ride out. Knights are paired off, working on drills, their faces set with the kind of focus that only comes when the stakes are high. The usual chatter is absent. There's no room for idle conversation today. The weight of the coming battle hangs over everyone, and it's clear that every knight feels it. You join the others in the circle of mounted knights, ready for the day's drills. Today, the focus is on maneuvering in formation. The cavalry charge is an art fluid, powerful, and dangerous. It's not just about individual skill, it's about the coordination between the horses, the riders, and the formation itself. One misstep, one moment of hesitation, and it could all fall apart. You line up with the others, feeling the familiar excitement that comes with these drills. You know this charge like the back of your hand, the rhythm of the gallop, the precision of the strike, the way you must trust your horse to carry you through the chaos of the battlefield. It's not just about strength, it's about timing, control, and the ability to read the movements of your comrades. As the signal is given, you urge your horse forward. The pounding of hooves fills the air, a thunderous roar that shakes the ground beneath you. You lower your lance, feeling the weight of it in your grip. The target is in sight, and your focus sharpens. Every muscle in your body is attuned to the movement, every thought narrowing to the strike. Your horse carries you forward, its hooves pounding the earth with a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. You're not just riding, it's a dance, a coordinated rush of power and precision. The lance strikes the target with a satisfying thud, knocking it to the ground. You circle back, your heart pounding in your chest, and prepare for another pass. The sense of purpose is palpable, the knowledge that you are training for something far greater than today's practice. Every strike is a small victory, every turn of the horse a reminder that you are ready for what's to come. The drills continue throughout the day, each one more intense than the last. The cavalry maneuvers grow sharper, more precise. You push yourself harder, testing the limits of your endurance, your skill. The thought of the upcoming battle looms in your mind, but you try to focus on the present. There's no room for doubt, no room for fear. Not here, not now. The drills are your only focus. The rest of the world doesn't exist in this moment. It's just you, your horse, and the task at hand. By the time the sun begins to set, the fatigue in your muscles is overwhelming. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, the clang of armor, and the dust that has settled over the training grounds. You feel the weight of the day's work settle in your bones, but you know it's not over yet. The true test has not yet come. You dismount, feeling the ache in your legs, and lead your horse back to the stables. You check the saddle and reins one last time, ensuring your steed is ready for tomorrow. There's a comfort in these small tasks: feeding, watering, grooming. It's a simple routine, but it's one that grounds you, that reminds you of the bond between knight and steed. As you return to your quarters, the castle is quieter now, the sounds of daily life winding down. You can hear the distant murmur of voices, the soft creaking of the castle's ancient wooden beams, but it all feels distant now. The weight of the upcoming campaign hangs over you like a shadow, and you can't shake the thought that soon you will be marching out of these walls into the unknown. You lie down, the exhaustion of the day settling over you, but sleep doesn't come easily. The thoughts of battle, of the blood that will be shed, of the lives that will be lost, fill your mind. You know that when the time comes, you will fight. You will stand beside your comrades and do your duty. But tonight, as you close your eyes, the uncertainty lingers. Tomorrow will bring more drills, more preparation. But soon, the real battle will begin. And when it does, you will be ready. You have to be. The castle awakens with a quiet intensity, the first rays of dawn creeping in through the high windows as you rise, stiff from a restless sleep. The familiar weight of your armor lies ahead, waiting for you like it always does. But today, something feels different. There's an edge to the air, an electricity that charges everything you touch. The day of the campaign is near. You can feel it in your bones. The deep-set knowledge that soon the drills and preparation will give way to something more real, something far more dangerous. As you prepare, the usual rhythm feels strained. Each piece of armor you don is not just a step closer to readiness, it's a reminder of the duty ahead. You're not just suiting up for practice today, you're suiting up for war. You feel the weight of it in your chest as you fasten the straps and adjust the plates of your armor. Your sword and shield sit beside you, always within reach, always ready. The cool, sharp air outside seems to deepen the heaviness in your chest as you step into the courtyard, your feet heavy on the cold stone. The knights are already gathering, their faces set with quiet resolve. There's no laughter this morning, no teasing or camaraderie. Today, there's only the understanding that everything changes from here on out. The reality of what's to come has settled into every knight, every soldier in the castle. There's no turning back now. You take your place alongside your brothers in arms, the usual pre-battle jitters beginning to creep in. It's always this way, the anticipation before the first clash, the tension in the air that makes your heart race faster than it should. You try to calm your breath, but it's no use. It's impossible to ignore the fear, the uncertainty of what lies ahead. The charge may be familiar, the tactics well practiced, but nothing can prepare you for the chaos of the battlefield. Today's drills are focused on the cavalry's role in battle formations: tight, coordinated, powerful. This is where you and your comrades will be tested. The ability to ride as one, to strike as one, will make the difference between victory and defeat. Every movement is vital. Every night's strike, every maneuver must be in perfect sync. The slightest misstep, the smallest error, could be fatal. You charge across the field, feeling the adrenaline surge in your veins. The sound of hooves pounding the earth fills the air, the wind rushing past your face as your lance strikes the target with a satisfying thud. But even as you complete the maneuver, the thought of what awaits on the battlefield lingers in the back of your mind. Here, in the controlled environment of the training field, it's all about perfecting the motion. In battle, the stakes are far higher. The heat of the day presses down on you as you ride through the drills again and again. The cavalry charge feels like second nature. Now your horse responds to every command without hesitation. The lance strikes with precision, but as the sun climbs higher, so does the awareness that today's training is not just about practicing old routines. It's about preparing for the inevitable. The first true battle is coming, and when it arrives, you will be expected to ride out, to fight, to survive. By midday, the drills have become almost automatic. The knights work through the formations again and again, perfecting their movements, sharpening their skills. But there's something else in the air today, an unspoken sense of readiness, of anticipation. You can feel the eyes of your fellow knights, each of you knowing that this could be the last time you ride together in practice, the last time you test your skills before the real battle begins. You glance around at your comrades, their faces grim with the same thoughts that haunt you. There's no denying that each of you feels it. The weight of the coming war, the fear of the unknown. It's there, hanging in the air like a fog, thick and suffocating. And yet, despite the fear, there's something else too. Something you've come to understand after years of training and preparation. There's courage. There's resolve. There's the unspoken promise between every night that no matter what happens, you will fight together. You will face the storm side by side. The sun begins to dip low in the sky, the heat of the day slowly turning to the cooler chill of evening. The drills start to wind down, the knights slowing their movements as exhaustion takes over. But there's no celebration, no sense of accomplishment. The work is not done. You are all too aware that soon the call to march will come. And when it does, the training will become reality. The formations, the maneuvers, they will be put to the test against real enemies, real danger. You head back to the stables to tend to your horse, the familiar rhythm of brushing the animal, checking its hooves, and ensuring the saddle is secure, providing a small sense of calm amidst the chaos. It's a simple task, but one that grounds you in the midst of all the uncertainty. Your horse stands patiently, as always, its calm presence, a steady reminder that you are not alone in this. As you finish tending to the horse, the reality of what comes next begins to settle in. The campaign is no longer a distant thought. It's here, on the horizon, just beyond the castle gates. Soon, you will ride out with your comrades, your brothers in arms. There's a strange mixture of fear and pride within you. You've trained for this, you've lived for this, but nothing can fully prepare you for the chaos of battle. You make your way back to your quarters, the weight of your sword at your side, feeling heavier than usual. The armor feels like an impenetrable shield, yet it also serves as a constant reminder of the war ahead. As you prepare for bed, you close your eyes, but sleep eludes you. The thoughts race through your mind: the campaign, the battles, the uncertainty of what tomorrow will bring. But there's no more room for doubt. Tomorrow will come, and when it does, you will rise, ready to face whatever lies ahead. For now, you take solace in the silence of the night, the steady rhythm of your breathing, and the knowledge that you are not alone. Tomorrow, you will fight, and no matter what happens, you will stand with your brothers, as a knight should. The crack of dawn arrives as it always does, silent and steady. The familiar chill in the air, the soft sounds of servants moving through the corridors, the first rays of light peeking through the high windows. The smell of the castle in the early morning is different today, heavy, laden with the promise of what is to come. As you rise from your bedroll, there's no room for the lingering doubts, no time for contemplation. Today is the day. You stretch your aching limbs, feeling the familiar stiffness in your muscles, a reminder of the previous days of training. The sword is still beside you, the hilt familiar under your hand. The weight of it has become natural, as it should, as a knight. It's not just an object, it's an extension of you, a part of your very essence. You stand and don the padded undergarment, securing the armor with a mechanical familiarity that speaks to years of repetition. Each piece is placed with precision: the breastplate, the greaves, the vambraces. Every motion is practiced, deliberate. You can do this with your eyes closed. But today, as you fasten the straps of your helmet and adjust the weight of your shield, there's a difference. Today, the weight feels heavier. It's not just armor, it's the knowledge that soon you'll be leaving the familiar walls of the castle and riding towards something much darker. The courtyard is already alive with movement by the time you step outside. The clatter of armor, the sound of horses snorting and stamping, the shouts of knights preparing for the day, all of it is normal. Yet, today it feels off kilter. There's an edge to the air that wasn't there before, a tension that's hard to shake. You find your comrades in the usual places, but there's no chatter, no joking. Today, there's only purpose. Your horse stands ready in the stables, calm as ever. It's strange this animal has been by your side for so long that it's almost a part of you now. Its steady breath, the gentle sway of its neck as you approach, the soft sound of its hooves against the stone. It's always been a faithful companion, but today, even the horse feels different. It seems to understand the gravity of the moment. You give it a pat on the neck, your hand running along its coat, feeling the warmth beneath your fingers. You mount, the familiar weight of the saddle beneath you, the reins in your hands, the stirrups ready to hold you steady. Your fellow knights are doing the same, and the sound of hooves fills the courtyard as the first wave of riders sets off toward the gates. The sun is just beginning to rise, casting a soft golden hue over everything. It's almost peaceful, and yet the tension in your chest refuses to dissipate. You ride out, your heart pounding, your mind focused. It's not fear that fills you, but a deep sense of duty. This is what you've trained for. This is the moment every knight lives for. And yet, as the castle fades into the distance, you can't shake the feeling that it's all been a dream. The real world, the world of battle and bloodshed, is much harsher than any training field. The journey to the battlefield is long, the sound of your horse's hooves on the hard packed earth, the only noise for miles. As you travel, you pass through villages, fields, and forests, the landscape stretching endlessly before you. The world is waking up, the birds singing, the wind rustling the leaves of the trees. It's almost idyllic, and yet the thought of what lies ahead fills you with a quiet dread. The tension in your body grows with every mile, your grip tightening on the reins, your shield feeling heavier on your back. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, you arrive at the battlefield. The camp is already buzzing with activity. Soldiers are preparing weapons. Knights are gathering in small groups, and the air is thick with the anticipation of what's to come. You can see the faces of your comrades. Some are calm, others tense, but all of them are united by a single purpose. You are here to fight, and when the time comes, you will fight like you've never fought before. As you dismount and check your horse, you feel the weight of the armor again, the pressure on your chest, the heat of it under the sun. It's a reminder of everything that's at stake. You've been in battles before, but this one feels different. There's a heaviness to it, a sense that this could be the fight that defines your life. And yet, despite the fear, you find a strange sense of peace. This is your duty. You were born to do this. The sound of horns fills the air, signaling the gathering of the army. You join your comrades, lining up alongside them as the commanders issue the final orders. The formations are precise, each knight knowing his place. The cavalry will take the flank, the infantry will hold the center, and the archers will provide support. It's a familiar plan, but today it feels like more. Today, it's not just about tactics, it's about survival. The battlefield is vast, the ground covered in dust and blood, the scent of metal and sweat heavy in the air. You ride forward, your heart racing, your mind focused. The enemy is in sight now, their banners flying in the distance. It's a strange moment, one that seems to stretch forever, and yet the chaos that follows will come quickly, faster than you can prepare for. The charge begins, the sound of hooves, the clash of metal, the roar of voices all blend into a deafening cacophony as you race into battle. The earth beneath your horse's hooves shakes, the weight of the battle pressing in on all sides. You lower your lance and focus on the target ahead. The world narrows down to this single moment, this single strike. Your lance strikes true, and you feel the satisfying jolt as it connects with the enemy, sending them sprawling to the ground. But the battle doesn't stop. The enemy charges forward, and the clash of swords fills the air. The noise is overwhelming. The heat of battle, unlike anything you've ever felt before. Your horse rears, throwing you off balance for a moment, but you recover quickly, drawing your sword and preparing for the next strike. This is the life of a knight, the relentless forward motion, the never-ending battle. There is no time to stop, no time to think. You fight, and when the fight ends, you will rest if you survive. But for now, the battle rages on. The chaos of battle is something you can never quite prepare for, no matter how many times you've drilled, no matter how many times you've imagined it in your mind. It's a storm, a frenzy of sounds and movement that pulls you in, drowns you, until the world narrows down to a few simple things: your sword, your shield, your steed, and your brothers in arms. Everything else fades. There's no time to think about anything but the immediate struggle. You're in the thick of it now, the clash of steel ringing in your ears, the screams of men lost in the chaos echoing across the battlefield. Your horse, once a steady companion, now feels like a wild creature beneath you, moving instinctively through the throngs of soldiers. Your lance is gone, shattered in the initial charge, but your sword feels heavier than ever in your hand. You strike again and again, each swing more desperate than the last, the weight of the world pressing down on you with every move. The sun is high above, casting long shadows on the blood-soaked earth, and yet it feels like the battle will never end. The world around you is a blur of faces, forms, weapons all indistinguishable as the fighting continues in every direction. The enemy presses in from all sides, and though you fight with everything you have, you can't shake the feeling that the tide is turning against you. A knight falls beside you, his armor pierced through, his body crumpling into the dirt. You don't have time to mourn him. There's no time for that on the battlefield. You raise your shield to deflect an incoming blow, the force of it rattling your arm. You counter with a strike, your sword cutting through the enemy's defenses, but you barely register the victory. The fight is consuming you, and the feeling of being lost in it, of being nothing but a part of the struggle, overwhelms your senses. But then, something changes. The battle begins to shift. The momentum you felt earlier is suddenly gone. The weight of the world isn't pressing down on you anymore. It's lifting, as if the ground beneath you is shifting, as if the tide is turning. You glance around, trying to get your bearings, and see that your comrades, your fellow knights, are pushing back. The enemy, once so confident, is beginning to falter, their ranks breaking apart as the tide of the battle shifts in your favor. For a moment, you feel a flicker of hope, but it's quickly extinguished as the fighting intensifies. You ride deeper into the fray, guiding your steed through the chaos, your sword raised and ready. You strike again and again and again, each blow more powerful than the last, your heart beating in time with the rhythm of the battle. Your mind is empty now, focused solely on the fight, and in that moment, you feel something like peace. But peace is fleeting in war. The battle rages for hours, the sounds of it filling the air, the screams, the shouts, the clang of weapons on armor. The sun is beginning to dip low on the horizon, casting a red glow across the battlefield. The ground is slick with mud and blood, and the scent of it fills your nostrils, a harsh reminder of the price of war. Your body is exhausted, the weight of your armor a constant burden, but you push through, your mind focused solely on survival. Then you hear it, the horn, the signal that the battle is nearing its end, that the tide has finally turned. The enemy begins to retreat, their lines breaking apart as they flee from the battlefield. You can see it now, your comrades, once so overwhelmed, are pushing forward, forcing the enemy back. The retreat is not graceful. It's chaotic, a scramble of soldiers trying to save themselves as the knights pursue, cutting down the stragglers. The battle is won, but there's no joy in it. There's no celebration. There's only the reality of what has happened. You slow your horse, breathing heavily, and watch as the last of the enemy forces flee. The fighting dies down, and the battlefield goes eerily quiet, save for the sound of the wind rustling through the grass. You dismount, feeling the strain in your legs, your muscles screaming for rest. You stand for a moment, taking in the scene. The battlefield is littered with the bodies of the fallen, both enemy and knight alike. There is no glory here. There is only the stark reality of war. You walk through the field, your sword heavy in your hand, your heart weighed down by the loss. There is no joy in victory when the cost is so high. You pass by the fallen knights, their faces familiar, their bodies cold. The sight of them is a stark reminder of what it means to be a knight, to fight, to risk everything for a cause greater than yourself, to stand beside your brothers and sisters in arms, and to fall for it. The sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the battlefield. The air is thick with the scent of death, but there's a strange silence now, a calm after the storm. You've won, but you've lost as well. And in that moment, you wonder if it's ever worth it. The cost of war, the lives lost. What is it all for? But those thoughts are fleeting. As you hear the voice of a fellow knight calling your name, you look up to see your comrades gathering, their faces tired but resolute. They've survived. You've survived. And for now, that's enough. The battle is over, but the war is far from won. You return to camp with the others, the weight of the day pressing down on you. There's no celebration, no cheering. There's only the quiet recognition of the task at hand. The wounded are seen to, the dead counted, and the camp begins to settle in for the night. The firelight flickers, casting long shadows across the faces of the knights, their expressions tired but determined. You sit by the fire, your sword resting at your side, and reflect on what you've just been through. The battle is over, but there is no peace. There is only the reality of war, the cost, the sacrifice, the endless struggle. You don't know what the future holds, but you do know one thing. You'll stand with your comrades through it all, because that is what it means to be a knight. And tomorrow, you will ride again. The camp is quiet, but it's not peaceful. You sit by the flickering fire, staring into the flames as the sounds of your fellow knights drift through the night air. Some talk in low voices, recounting the battle. Others sit in silence, the weight of what has happened too much to put into words. You can still hear the echoes of the clash of swords, the screams of battle, the heavy thud of bodies falling to the earth. The battlefield, once a place of chaos, now feels distant, almost unreal, like something that happened to someone else. But you know better. You know that what you've just been through is real. The weight of your sword feels heavier tonight. The scars on your body more than just marks of battle. They're reminders of the price you've paid, of the sacrifices you've made. You've fought, you've bled, and you've survived. But you also know that the battle is far from over. The firelight flickers as you sit, your mind racing. The faces of the fallen haunt you, the knights who fought beside you, the men and women whose lives were cut short in the name of duty. You can't help but wonder how many of them felt the same fear, the same doubt, the same weight you carry tonight. How many of them asked themselves, in the quiet moments before the charge, if it was worth it? But those thoughts are fleeting. The duty of a knight is clear fight, survive, and protect. And tomorrow, the war will continue. You will ride again. The firelight dances on your face, and for a brief moment, the chaos of the battle seems far away. You close your eyes, letting the warmth of the flames soothe you, if only for a moment. When you open your eyes again, the fire has burned low, and the camp is settling into an uneasy silence. Some knights are asleep, their bodies stretched out on the ground, wrapped in the thin blankets provided by the camp. Others sit up, keeping watch over the perimeter, their eyes scanning the darkness for any signs of danger. You wonder how many of them will sleep tonight. How many of them are haunted by the same thoughts that plague your mind. There's a quiet rustling beside you, and you glance over to see a fellow knight, his face grim and tired, sitting down next to you. He doesn't say anything at first, just stares into the fire, his hands resting on his knees. You know him well enough, a comrade, one of the few you've come to trust in the field. Not the kind of battle I was hoping for, he mutters after a long silence, his voice low and rough. You nod in agreement, but the words don't come. There's nothing you can say to make it better. The cost of war is something you can't soften, something that can't be fixed with words. You both sit in silence, the crackling of the fire, the only sound between you. Eventually, he stands, the weight of the conversation lingering between you both. I'll see you at dawn, he says quietly, before walking off into the shadows. You watch him disappear into the darkness, knowing that you'll both be back on the battlefield tomorrow. The fight is never over. The night passes slowly, each moment heavier than the last. The campfire has burned low, and the sounds of the battlefield seem to drift further away as you lie down to sleep. Your body is tired, your mind too, but sleep doesn't come easily tonight. Instead, your thoughts race, spinning around the faces of those who didn't make it, the comrades you've lost, the men and women who won't be riding out again. The moon hangs high above, casting a pale light over the camp as you close your eyes, trying to push away the thoughts that threaten to overwhelm you. The night is quiet, the battle done for now, but you know that it will return. The war will not end with this one victory. There will be more, and there will be more losses, more sacrifices. But for now, you are alive. You survived. And tomorrow, you will fight again. Dawn arrives as it always does, unbidden, quiet and relentless. You rise, the weight of exhaustion still in your bones. But there's no time for rest. The camp is already stirring, the knights preparing for another day of battle, another day of survival. The routine is the same, the urgency palpable in the air. The war is far from over, and you know it. You don your armor once more, the familiar weight settling onto your body. But this time, it feels different. The armor feels heavier, not from the weight of the metal, but from the knowledge of what's to come. The sword at your side is no longer just a tool. It's a reminder of everything you've already lost. The camp is alive with the movement of knights and soldiers, all of you preparing for the next phase of the campaign. The air is thick with the sounds of preparation, the clink of armor, the neighing of horses, the quiet murmur of voices discussing tactics and plans. Everyone knows the drill by now. Everyone knows their place. But today, it feels different. There's a finality to it, a sense that this battle could be the one that determines the outcome of the entire war. As you make your way to your steed, the familiar sense of duty settles into your chest. The weight of your responsibility feels heavier today, but there's no room for hesitation. The war has taken everything from you, your comrades, your peace, your sense of certainty, but there's still something left. There's still hope. As long as you ride, as long as you fight, there's still a chance to change the course of history. And so, you mount your horse, your sword in hand, and prepare for what's to come. Tomorrow, the war continues, and you will ride into the storm once again. The day breaks with the same unyielding rhythm as all the others. the castle's routines unchanged by the intensity of the battle just behind you. The air feels thicker today, though, laden with the scent of dust, blood, and anticipation. You wake early, even before the first light touches the land. Your body stiff with the aches and exhaustion from days of continuous preparation and combat. The familiar pressure of armor sits heavier this morning, the metal more oppressive than it has ever been. But there is no time to dwell on discomfort. As you rise and begin the task of fastening each piece of your armor, you notice the absence of sound in the camp. The usual murmur of knights preparing for the day's duties is quieter than it should be. The weight of what lies ahead, another campaign, another battle, looms in the air like a storm cloud ready to break. You feel the familiar rhythm of your routine, and yet there is an undercurrent of tension, of finality. This is it. The battle ahead might be the one that tips the scales, the one that defines the fate of your kingdom and possibly your very life. The weight of your sword, now strapped to your side, feels like a reminder of that finality. You can't help but wonder how many of your brothers in arms will stand beside you when this is over. How many will walk away, their faces scarred by both battle and the aftermath? How many will fall on the battlefield, their names lost to the ages, their lives snuffed out in the chaos of war? But these are thoughts for later, when the battle is done. For now, you do as you've always done. You prepare, you ride. The familiar sounds of the camp fill the air as the knights gather, preparing their horses and weapons. The atmosphere is tight, each movement deliberate and measured. No one speaks more than necessary. The usual jokes and idle chatter have ceased, replaced by a grim silence that hangs over the camp. You find your comrades, each of them performing their tasks with quiet precision. They are ready as they can be. The ground trembles with the sound of hooves as horses are readied, and soon the signal to mount is given. You swing onto your horse, the saddle familiar beneath you, your grip firm on the reins. The horses seem to know what's coming, too. They are restless, agitated, as though they, too, feel the weight of the coming battle. You glance around, catching the eyes of your fellow knights. The look in their eyes is one you've seen before, but today, there's something different about it. There's a deeper understanding, a knowing that this might be the last time you all ride together, that the next time the battle is done, not all of you may return, and yet there is no hesitation, there is no retreat. You ride out because that is what you do. The march to the front lines is long, the weight of the world pressing in as the knights ride in formation, their armor gleaming under the morning sun. The path is lined with soldiers, each of them going through their own motions, preparing for the chaos ahead. You don't speak much along the way, there's nothing to say. Everyone knows what comes next. The charge, the clash, the fear. The sounds of the battlefield are distant at first, just a faint rumble in the air. But as you approach, the noise grows louder, shouts, screams, the sound of weapons clashing. The ground begins to shake beneath your horse's hooves as the army gathers in formation, preparing for the first strike. The tension in the air is palpable, the anxiety creeping in with every step closer to the front. You move into position, taking your place in the ranks. The sight before you is nothing like the training fields you've practiced on. It is real, it is vast, and it is chaotic. The enemy lines stretch as far as the eye can see, a wall of shields and weapons. each man ready to fight, to kill. Your heart pounds in your chest, your grip tightens on your sword, and you glance at your fellow knights, each of them steady, focused. The signal to advance is given, and the ground trembles again as your cavalry charges forward. A wave of horses and men rushing toward the enemy. The noise of battle fills your ears, and for a moment, the world is reduced to the sound of hooves, the rush of the wind, and the pounding of your heart. Everything you've trained for, everything you've lived for, is now a part of this moment. There is no turning back. There is only the fight ahead. The first clash is as brutal as it is quick. The sound of swords striking shields, the thunderous impact of hooves crashing into the enemy lines, the roar of men as they meet in the chaos of battle. It's overwhelming. The world is a blur of movement and sound, your sword moving almost instinctively as you strike down one enemy after another. But the fight is not clean. The battlefield is chaotic, unpredictable. Horses rear, men fall, and the scent of blood fills the air. You find yourself surrounded by enemies, your shield raised to block the strikes, your sword cutting through the air with deadly precision. Every strike counts. Every movement is life or death. You don't think about the fear, the danger, or the pain. You simply fight, because that is all you can do. The battle is long, the hours stretching into what feels like days. You lose track of time as the fight continues. You feel the exhaustion in your muscles, the weight of your armor, the soreness in your legs. But still, you fight, because that is what a knight does. And then, as quickly as it began, the tide shifts. The enemy begins to break, their lines faltering as the pressure mounts. The cavalry pushes forward, cutting through their ranks with brutal efficiency. You ride harder, faster, pressing the attack. And finally, the enemy begins to retreat. The battle is won, but there is no joy in it. Only the hollow knowledge that war is never truly over. As the enemy flees, the noise of battle begins to fade, the chaos slowly giving way to an eerie silence. You stand amidst the remnants of the fight, your breath coming in heavy gasps, your sword dripping with the blood of your enemies. The battlefield is littered with the fallen, both enemy and ally alike. The cost of victory is written in blood. You look around, and for the first time, you feel the weight of what has just happened. The lives lost, the friendships forged in the fire of battle, and the pain that remains in the wake of it all. You dismount, feeling the strain in your legs, your body aching from the brutal toll of the fight. But there's no time to rest. The campaign isn't over yet. The war isn't over yet. But for now, you stand, your sword at your side, and you know that you've survived, and tomorrow you'll ride again.